In last week's episode we had planned to stop at Leanderly, but there was no option for a sailboat to dock, so we had to pass it by 12 kilometers and take the bikes back. We also passed the last lock, that meant we were now in the tidal water with its currents, as we continued to Rouen, the capital of Normandy. And we have now been here for a while. Today is a little bit of an exciting day. Tilda is getting her mast back on. We have an appointment at 3, and here we couldn't find any place where we can do it by ourselves, so we have to pay a crane to put it on. And we could go there about 2 hours before to do some work on the mast, so we have 2 hours to fix everything that we want to do. And then they're going to put it on for us, and we have to, of course, attach and tune in the rig ourselves. And we've been waiting for 5 days here now, because we have to wait for a good tide to continue, because it's quite a long way to go out to the open Atlantic from here, and there's no way to stop, and we are not allowed to go in darkness, and we have to go with the tide because otherwise it will take too long. So tonight there is a good low tide at the ocean, and then we heard that we should time that plus 7 hours, so we're gonna leave around 6 in the morning tomorrow. And this is like once every 2 weeks. This is a good tide, and then the opportunity is a couple of days, of course, but this is like the first day that we could actually leave, because the sunrise is it's a little after 6, but it's gonna be daylight. So yeah, we've been here a little longer than we expected. We had some problems before with something in the mast twisted around, so we're taking all the halyards out now and try to see what could be the problem. But there's a lot of ropes coming out, and it's like the main problem is with the main halyard, because like once you are almost up on the top with the hoisting the sail, it gives a bit of resistance, or too much resistance. So hopefully we can sort this out and it will work better in the future. We managed to fix it all at the dock and made it just in time. The very nice guy from the shipyard convinced us it was best to turn the mast pointing backwards, which felt a bit backward, but we concluded he had most likely done this more times than we had. And like that, it was standing, quick and smooth. Tilda is back to being a sailboat again, and it went super smooth. It was a really professional guy. We never stepped the mast with help before, so we didn't really know what to expect, but he was even on the boat running the crane and helping out. We just had to do minor things ourselves, so it was really smooth, also being 3 persons. And now we're just going to fine-tune everything and get rid of all the wood constructions and put on the sails, and early tomorrow morning we're gonna leave. Except that we got one of the halyards on the wrong side of the spreader. And being really scared of heights, this is not my favorite thing. Jag tror det. Okej.
having the mast stepped felt like a new milestone, and we were really hoping we could sail a bit on the river. However, we decided to only hoist the Genoa at this point. I must say, this is a lot easier when you have help from last time doing it alone. And as you can see, we also get our laundry done. A very productive day.
It is an early morning and we are leaving our port here in Roanne.
Leaving Roanne was equally industrial as arriving, but the sunrise colored the sky beautifully and we left with some excitement, hoping to finally set sail again after all those weeks of motoring. Shortly after being overtaken by one of the river cruises, the river turned to our wind favor and we could roll out the sail. What a feeling to finally sail again. But soon the wind met the current, so we got some waves and slowed down to almost no speed over ground. And then, round a new river loop, we could sail again. Notice that happy face.
We have now gotten the current against us, about 3 knots against, and it's also very much meandering in the river here, so we decided to go over to drive on the wrong side of the canal, like outside of the actual fairway, and to go in a little bit more shallow area and to have the inner curve so we can have less of speed in the current against us, and it made quite a lot of difference. We were down to like 1.8 knots, and then when we turn into the inner curve and the shallow area, we're about 3 knots again. So at least we're making a little bit of progress here, but it's gonna be a long way until the tide turns again.
And there it was, the last bridge to pass before we left the river. We got some pretty good sailing that even required a bit of reef, where we headed towards Honfleur. We officially made it out of the canal system. A tour that as a straight line would have been around 480 miles, but in reality was instead 840 miles and 85 locks. Bridges not even counted.
Finally, Tilda is among the other sailboats again.
We made it here! This was another idyllic French place and we decided to dine out.
So we arrived in Honfleur today after actually having a bit of a sail today, which was really nice. But we also had to run the engine for pushing the time with the timer. So it took us about 12 hours exactly to get here. And then we went out for some nice dining. So we went to a very nice seafood restaurant and I was sharing the seafood and it had some beautiful big shrimps. And then I ordered shrimps and I got those. I don't even know how to eat them. I think you're supposed to eat like the entire thing, but that's not really my thing. So I'm still equally hungry, but it's really nice to be here and being at the ocean. So let's hope for better dining tomorrow.
Honfleur showed its best sunny side to us, and it turned out we also timed the well-sorted Saturday market. I want to deeply thank my Patreons for supporting the making of these episodes, and if you want to contribute, you can also become a Patreon or buy me a coffee at the links below. If you haven't already, subscribe so you don't miss out. And if you appreciated this episode, please give it a big thumbs up.